Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Matthew Adama, aka Bassmatics, and I want to welcome you to this platform, Bassmatics Bass World. Okay, I'm going to talk on slap bass technique, and I'll start with finger placement and how to gain your balance on the fretboard. First of all, without your balance on the fretboard, both your right hand and your left hand, you're not going to be able to slap properly. So what I want to teach first of all is how to gain balance on your right hand and on your left hand. So for your right hand, this is what you do. For you to be able to lock in your groove, because you're not going to be slapping unintentionally, you have to be intentional with your bass slap. How you will achieve that is when you practice well. So we're starting with the right hand balancing. Now, this is me hanging my 5-string bass. What I need to do first of all is to rest my hand on the body of the bass. So when I rest my hand on the body of the bass, I have some balance that will allow me to slap, as opposed to when your hand is suspended. You're even going to be more creative with your groove when you're balanced. Balance is very important when we talk about bass slap. So right hand balancing, you rest your hand on the body of the bass, then you slap. You're slapping with your thumb and you're plucking with your index or middle finger. For me, I use both of them simultaneously. It depends on what I want to achieve. So sometimes I use my index, while sometimes I use my middle finger, depending on what I want to achieve. I'm going to show us the different ways of applying those two. Now let's start with the thumb. First thing to do is to practice with your thumb and get it used to the fretboard like this. And mind you, ghost notes is very, very important in bass slap. Without a ghost note, what you're slapping is going to be flying in the air. It's not going to have a root. So ghost note is what is giving your note firmness. All right, so let's go. I'm playing this on F sharp. You know, my bass is toned downward, like -1, semitone down. So my F sharp is now my G. On your instrument, this is supposed to be G, right? But your F sharp is here. Mine is here. Okay, let's go. Ghost note is very important. The muting and unmuting. So now I've slapped the bass. Now I'm using my thumb, practicing with the thumb. And what I advise you to learn is to be able to play something fluently with your thumb. That way you can be spontaneous and be creative with it. For example, like the diatonic scale, the major scale. So after you've practiced with this, you now start plucking. This is for your right hand. Now, there are different ways of slapping. There's what we call hammer-on, and then slapping and plucking, just like I did. Hammer-on is when you slow around the fretboard. You hit one note and use the same strike to move around, like this. That's hammer-on. So there's a slap that you slap first, then pluck. There's another one that you slap open string, then you hammer it. So when you're slapping, remember what I told us, balance on your right hand and your left hand. So your right hand balancing has to do with you resting your hand on the body of the bass, then you slap. Do. I've told us what the right hand should do. Now the left hand. Without gaining independence and strength on your fingers, on your left hand, you can't slap properly. Everything you're going to do is cram and drop. Yeah, but for you to be able to get creative when you're slapping with your left hand, you have to do some certain exercises. There are exercises I do for my right hand, and there are exercises I do for my left hand. So the ones I do for my left hand is very, very important because it does the movement around the fretboard. Both of them are very important. However, the moment you start working on your left hand, your right hand is building as well. There's no way you can build your left hand without your right hand. So I recommend you to do this exercise. It's called 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. You ascend and you descend. So ascending of the 1, 3, 2, 4 goes like this. And mind you, when you're slapping roots and the octave. Okay, so whatever you're going to practice in bass slap, first of all, you should have it at the back of your mind that you're doing octaves. So, like for example, F sharp, do, 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 re, mi, fa, fa, so, la, si, do. Now, the exercise. If you check on my right hand, I'm switching between index and middle finger, even unconsciously. So for you, I want you to be conscious with it for now. I'm doing then. So if I'm going to call the notes, it's going to be do, do, di, di, mo, ti, re, to. Now let me call it with number. 1, 8, which is the octave, flat second, flat ninth, flat third, seventh, second, flat seventh. And when you're practicing, I recommend you use the metronome every time. Practice with the metronome, practice with the stopwatch. So that stopwatch will keep you in check. Sometimes you rehearse for a few seconds and you think it's 5 minutes. Your stopwatch and your metronome will guide you through your rehearsals. You know, there's a breaking point for everyone. It's not going to be easy. These exercises, they're not going to be easy when you're practicing them. But you have to be steadfast. You have to be enduring. So endure the pains, because as you're looking at your timer, you know you've not gotten to the point yet. Without the timer, you're going to feel like I've gotten to my limit and you stop. But with a timer, you know, okay, I'm going to hit 3 minutes. So your stopwatch is counting, and you're working with a metronome so that you don't get slower or too fast. So I recommend you start with. then you increase the level too. When you're done with this BPM, so it's not going to be easy, but by the time you pace yourself and practice it over and over and over, so by the time you are done, this is what this exercise is going to do for you. Speed, dexterity, independence on the fretboard. You discover that your fingers have strength to move around. Let's play a beat and then groove to it. Are you all ready? Woo! First thing to do when you hear a groove like this is to make up your mind to lock in. Don't run around, lock in the groove first. Then you can now put some embellishment. Okay, let's go. So, if you notice what I was doing, locking the groove first. And then if you pay attention, you see that I was switching between hammer on and then slapping and plucking. Like unconsciously, I want to do something like. Okay, so that is how I move. I just slap, pluck, hammer on. There's something else I do. It has to do with up and down of your thumb. I hope you were blessed today, and if you have questions, please pass it on. I'll respond. I love you guys.